Food inflation has risen to a 40-year high, and food banks across the country are seeing record demand. We know the only thing that the NDP leader is looking out for is his own pension.
Welcome back to Moose on the Loose. My name's David. Today we're covering a whole bunch of stories here. We got Chrystia Freeland absolutely short-circuiting. We've got an update from the food banks on how the government's doing. We got some liberal propaganda. We've got ridiculous spending in Edmonton. Let's get into this. First up, we got this clip here of Chrystia Freeland completely short-circuiting during this press conference. It's ridiculous. It says here, Freeland seemed to have a glitch moment. She previously answered a question about the ICC charges towards Israel and Hamas.
Thank you. And as some of my colleagues have done, I'd like to push a bit on the ICC case. You mentioned several times that you feel that this is equating democratic leaders with terrorists. Can you kind of explain the rationale for that? Because their charges are entirely different. For Netanyahu's government, it's starvation of civilians and causing harm to civilians intentionally. Do you disagree with that? How does that equate them to Hamas, whose charges are entirely different?
We respect the ICC. We respect its independence. It's an important multilateral institution. We also recognize and understand that there are this is a
today, Junior
step in a process of the ICC.
She goes to the water. Yeah, that'll save me. What is wrong with her? Speaking of Chrystia Freeland, we got this clip here. It says, watch Chrystia Freeland during this question, no volume needed. Something is wrong. What do you think it is?
Opponents will argue that perhaps it's the wrong time to let the foot off your gas as far as interest rates go. The concern is that if the Bank of Canada were to lower interest rates in the foreseeable future, inflation would return. We know that at this point in time, kilograms of beef, for example, is roughly
What's wrong with her? Is she got she's trying to squeeze out a fart or something? She's got one stuck in there. She's like, Next up, we got this clip of Justin Trudeau speaking in America. I'm not going to play the whole clip, just a few seconds of it, because we all don't want to hear him speak. But you can see here, Wiretap Media said, PM Justin Trudeau claims Canadians aren't buying into his propaganda because people are captured by disinformation campaigns orchestrated by authoritarian regimes, and reminds you his attack on Canadians' energy sector isn't a liberal plot to usher in a totalitarian communist state.
Two of the freest countries on earth, Canada and the United States, are now being challenged in pretty fundamental ways. And it goes with the time we're in, where the reality is this is an unbelievably consequential and stressful time for citizens. We're also dealing with massively shifting geopolitical forces, a rise of authoritarian states that are not just causing challenges in their own areas, but are deliberately targeting our democracies to undermine people's faith in our own institutions, either.
Is that right, Trudeau? Is that what's going on? Is that what's going on here?
Through direct propaganda and messages, disinformation and misinformation on social media, or through undermining our own confidence in our institutions through foreign interference of various types.
I wonder who's undermining the confidence in Canada, Justin Trudeau. Who is it? Who's doing that? So we skip to the end.
Energy industry here. There's an understanding that the way things were done in the past is going to need to change, and it's not a liberal plot against it. It's the fact that investors from around the world are understanding that investing in a cleaner, greener economy is going to make an awful lot of money and create a whole bunch of new jobs.
This guy's such an idiot. We could see right through you, Trudeau. Speaking of propaganda, we have these posted on the Liberals page here. We're out knocking on doors this weekend, and we hope you'll join us too. I don't know if this music copyright, but I mean, look at this garbage. ooh, look at me, I'm knocking on doors. Camera crew, get a couple shots. I would never actually talk to these peasants. Oh, could you get the shots so I can go back to my mansion? Ooh. Who are these people? This bunch of paid actors? Yeah, I'm not going to shake that guy's hand. What a disgrace. Oh, thank you for destroying our country. Oh, let's get a photo op. Here's another abomination posted on Justin Trudeau's personal account. I met Beth at Avery's Farm Market in Truro, Nova Scotia. She's 74 and has never had dental care until now.
No, I was just over at Truro at the community college for healthcare.
Oh.
Pharma care and dental care and all those things.
Oh, I got approved for dental care.
There you did.
Yes,
there you go.
I did.
What do you know? How did that happen? They just happened to come up in conversation.
The system works.
I did. I just got my letter.
In the past 3 weeks, 100,000 seniors have gotten dental care.
Oh, really?
Oh, first time ever for me.
Decades,
First time?
I never had dental care in my life.
Not once?
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that? Did she go in for the hug before his cue? Is that... This is garbage. It's like, let's rehearse it a few times before we do the shot that's supposed to be real. Oh, God.
And I'll freaking check before.
Well, then you go.
Gee,
what's the secret?
Hey!
Easy, Trudeau. Easy, man. I know you're single, but just easy, buddy.
What's the secret?
Oh, your family has a secret too.
Yeah, no, that's
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
My mom just turned 75. She's doing great. So it's awesome.
Oh, I love it.
All right. Anyway,
We have a celebrity in the house. Yes.
Take care.
Have a nice day.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, easy there, Tiger. Like, this is just... yeah. Have you asked her about how she feels about the record of Canadians depending on food banks? Or how, just like she never had dental care, totally believable. I roll. There's a whole generation coming up that will never own a home thanks to your policies. We got the food bank stats here. 33% are children. Well, let's get into this because we have some clips on exactly this.
After 9 years of this NDP Liberal government, Canadians are hungry and homeless. It's becoming more clear. The more inflationary spending they do, the worse it gets for Canadians. And look no further than the Ottawa Food Bank report that came out this week that said 500,000 visits were made to the food bank in our nation's capital last year. That's a 95% increase in the last 5 years, a 22% increase in the last year alone, and 36% of them were children. How many more times are they going to hike the carbon tax before they realize it's driving millions of more people to food banks?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Enough times to fund their retirement funds. Their offshore retirement funds.
I find it more than ironic that the Conservative member across the way mentions children when he's going to stand up in short order and oppose a national school food program. A national school food program that Food Banks of Canada and Food Secure Canada have advocated for over 10 years because they know that it will impact food insecurity in this country in a dramatic way. $1 billion in the federal budget 2024 to feed 400,000 more kids, and the Conservatives say, no, we won't support that.
Shameful. Shameful. This is Trudeau drama class. Oh, really ham it up. Just look at the camera and start waving your hands.
The Honourable Member from Stormont Dundas, South Glengarry.
And after 9 years, Mr. Speaker, that program has fed exactly 0 children in this country. The only thing it's doing is feeding the bureaucracy here in Ottawa. Well, let's take a look and see what Food Banks Canada had to say about their poverty measures. Their report card came out this week, and this government got an F, a failing grade for what they're doing as they're driving millions of more people to food banks each and every year. Their report says it's only going to get worse the more they hike the carbon tax and make life more expensive. How many more damning reports need to come out before they axe the carbon tax to help with the price of food?
Breakfast Clubs of Canada, Mr. Speaker, released a statement saying that this program marks a turning point in the country's commitment to the well-being of children.
What else would you expect from the Liberals? They don't care about anyone but themselves, lining their own pockets with cash, corruptions, and pensions, golden pensions. We haven't forgot about that, them trying to push back the election for another week to get all those golden pensions. And speaking of golden pensions, we've got this clip here with Michael Barrett. who's calling out sellout Singh.
Food inflation has risen to 40-year high, and food banks across the country are seeing record demand. Canadians that once donated to their local food banks are now standing in line to receive help. People are skipping meals because they can't afford 3 meals per day. It's a sad, sad story, but this is the record of the sellout NDP leader. Since he joined the Liberal government, life has gotten more expensive. Maybe it's because his brother is a top lobbyist for Metro, or maybe it's because he sold out our farmers and working class Canadians by repeatedly raising taxes on them. Either way, we know the only thing that the NDP leader is looking out for is his own pension.
Sellout Singh, all he cares about is pension. We got an article here on the counter signal, which basically sums up what we just saw there. Food Banks Canada, Trudeau Liberals a D- in tackling poverty. So this is in general poverty, but it also says in here, Food Banks Canada has given the federal government a D-, an F, D+, and a C respectively. Canada-wide, this represents 43.6% of Canadians, constituting an F grade. In terms of poverty rate, 9.9% of Canadians are considered impoverished based on data from Statistics Canada. 6.1% are unemployed, and 22.9%, 1 in 5, face food insecurity. This was not a problem in Canada before Justin Trudeau. We didn't have tents in cities. We didn't have tent cities. We didn't have, what was that number in Toronto? 260 tent cities or tent encampments. The country is going drastically downhill. How do we not have a measure that just gets Trudeau out of power? The majority of us do not want him in there. We should be able to just get rid of him by just calling an election coming from the people, not from... Why does he have more power than us? This is so stupid. Speaking of things that are stupid, we've got this here. A woman says Dairy Queen is allegedly housing employees.
Is it legal for Dairy Queen to house employees in a shed with no bathroom and let them go to the bathroom in this little shed? Is that legal? I don't know. They're immigrants, so maybe that's the best they've ever had it, but yeah, somebody's in the toilet right there. That's their home.
I gotta say, from what I've seen, this is, depending on how many people are in there, these are better conditions than the 25 people you have living in a single house with like 8 people in a room and lying all over the floor in cots and stuff. But yes, this is not legal to have someone sleeping in a little building on the side of a Dairy Queen. I don't know. A lot of weird stuff in our country now. Speaking of weird stuff, we've got this. A group of Indian men have ruined the nude beach. So this was posted on the Canada Mass Immigration subreddit. This was posted by a guy kind of talking about his girlfriend and their experience there. It says, in my city, we have a famous nude beach that's been there since the 70s. This is probably Wreck Beach in Vancouver. Let's just call it what it is. It's always been a popular spot for all people to come and disrobe and be as nature intended. It was a huge spot for the hippies and has still been popular even today. Now my girlfriend doesn't even want to go anymore because last time we went, there was a large group of Indian men fully clothed in jeans and sweaters and shoes sitting around staring and ogling at women. Not even just staring. Many of them would film and go up to women and hit on them that were alone and naked. I'm not alone in this sentiment either. I saw a lot of posts on the city subreddit about this last year. And now it's sad because it's beach season soon and we can no longer feel safe going to my favorite beach because of these gross groups of men that have zero respect. It's not like I don't expect men to glance or enjoy looking at women. I mean, obviously that's human, but to go to the beach specifically to ogle and make people feel uncomfortable, take pictures, and not participate in the culture by being nude yourself is disgusting. That's what's happening to us. We're fully losing our trust society and it's becoming dangerous for women to exist here. I'm so effing mad about this crap. The comments here are kind of back and forth. Don't get publicly naked and complain about it. I thought that's why people go to those beaches. It sounds kind of counterintuitive. They were Bangladeshi. Tell the truth. All I gotta say is we should be reducing immigration from India, not because of this specific story, but because there's too much of the culture being shifted in one direction. We need to balance it out with all other nations on the world that want people coming here, because we're getting problems where it's changing too quickly in one direction. Next up, we got this story here where a Brampton family says they're owed more than $22,000 in unpaid rent and can't occupy their only home because a tenant refuses to leave.
It's very challenging and it's depressing. It's hard. Yvonne Folks and her husband rented out their only home and now regret it. To this man, Herman Fuyape Dekono, seen here. But a year later, Yvonne and her family wanted to move back in and told him so, exercising their legal rights. Fuyape refused to leave and hasn't paid any rent since last October, 7 months.
You don't pay the rent. This is not your house.
I pay the rent.
When Yvonne and a real estate agent showed up for a property inspection,
Can you call the police, please? No, you call the... Oh, my God.
Fuyape got physical.
You cannot do that. You cannot do that.
And if you're a tenant, you can get away with it, like not paying rent for a year now.
Kevin Costain knows from experience what Yvonne's going through. He wrote a book about the pitfalls of renting out your home. A family member of Costain's tenant set fire to his house, which had to be rebuilt.
And I will tell you, as a landlord that's been burned like I have, I cannot do it again. I just can't. I can't possibly go there.
Fuyape drives this new pickup and owns a trucking business. We wanted to find out why Fuyape refuses to pay or move away.
You cannot record me.
Fuyape's partner gets upset when we show up to ask questions. Global News, it's television.
I don't care.
Herman Fuyape won't come out. Herman, it's Sean O'Shea with Global News. The police are called.
You should come and ask first.
Yvonne watches from the sidewalk. Fuyape eventually agrees to talk. Have you paid any rent since last October?
No, because she's the one who told me she doesn't want me to pay.
He's just a liar. That's what he is.
But why did you refuse to leave?
But I'm not to leave because why I have to leave? You cannot come and tell me because I told her I can leave in summer.
He says he's building a house in Hamilton, but it's not ready yet. Herman, it sounds like you know the system.
Of course. Why I don't know? It's normal. I have to know.
Oh yeah, the system is working for him.
Yeah, they're using it.
And it's working against me.
Peel police are powerless to help the couple.
No, you're a liar. You're a liar. You are a liar. You are a liar. You have to pay.
He owes more than $22,000 in back rent. Do you have any intention of paying her the money that you owe her?
We're going to go to the court.
Do you have any intention of paying her?
We're going to go to the court and the judge going to decide.
A landlord and tenant board hearing is scheduled for early next month. In the meantime, there's nothing they can do to get their home back or the money they're owed.
We need them out. We need the house.
I don't see how that guy's tires don't get slashed every day. Like, come on, man. I know there's a lot of people on both sides of this. People don't like how bad landlords are because I've had terrible landlords. I know exactly how that feels. There's people on the other side. They work their butts off for years. They buy a house or a second house. In this case, this is their only house, and then someone just doesn't pay rent. Like, that's appalling. Like, the police should just walk in there, cuff him, and drag him out, and then press charges. And then if he doesn't pay, take the truck. That's what should be happening here. Like, what kind of stupid society is this? That woman needs to hire one of those crews that comes in and occupies the house and gets those people out. You'll pay 10 grand or something. But these guys will come in and they get it done. Been working in America and they're doing it up here now as well. So that's what you got to do. Either that or just go take the doors off. If I were in that situation, I'd be taking the doors off and I'd be dragging that piece of garbage out myself. And I'd probably be the one going to jail, but whatever. I'm just amazed his tires aren't being slashed every day. Let's look at the comments because I'm sure these will be fun. This should be considered theft of property and they should have the right to defend their property. Yes. Oh, this one here. The message is clear. Just go to the corner store, get a lease with your favorite address on it. Get in the home, refuse to leave, show this BS lease, be a giant headache because our culture is a weak joke. The people in charge think it's okay to criminalize us for getting rid of vermin in our society. This is theft of personal property. Slash his tires every night. He wants to stay in that house, make sure he doesn't leave. Everything is free in Canada if you play your cards right. It's amazing that they said, oh, you must know how the system works. He's like, of course. You know, the guy's a builder. He knows what he can do. Should have removed the doors and windows. Doubt bum would stay long. See, I mean, if she did that in the wintertime, like, he'd be screwed. You'd either have to, go put a new door on and then just keep removing them. As you get into summertime, it's not going to be that much of a problem. Nice truck he has there. Shame if anything were to happen to it. What kind of idiot would have, like, a nice truck like that and then refuse to pay rent for all those months? They should just impound the truck, give her the money, and kick them out. Next up, we got this article here from the Counter Signal. It says, Foreign Interference Commissioner notes that Liberals are withholding documents. It comes after Public Safety Minister Dominic LeBlanc assured that the Commissioner into Foreign Interference that we have all relevant cabinet documents, even if sensitive information couldn't be publicly disclosed. Despite this promise, the government has invoked cabinet confidentiality to withhold and redact certain records, including the Privy Council office, which answers directly to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. As reported by the Globe and Mail, Justice Hogue noted in her May 3rd report that discussions as to the application of these privileges is ongoing. The PCO confirmed that 9% of the 33,000 documents given to the inquiry contain redactions. However, the exact number of completely withheld documents remains undisclosed. You got more just liberal corruption and garbage. There's so many of these situations, it's absolutely absurd. Well, this one's on foreign interference. You have the exact same thing on the China Infrastructure Bank, where they gave $250 million to China and will not release the documents since 2021. It's been 3 years. It's the same thing. This schmuck and all his den of thieves have been doing this for years. And speaking of schmucks, we've got Edmonton Naming Committee considering over 1,000 changes to offensive streets. How do you have 1,000 offensive street names? I gotta warn you, this is some really dumb stuff. The Edmonton Naming Commission, after spending $680,000 on renaming the Oliver neighborhood to Wikentwentwin in February, the city appears eager to rebrand more communities and infrastructure with alleged discriminatory names. What a waste of money. So it says here, although the Oliver rebrand was extremely controversial among Edmontonians, with some calling it money well wasted, city councilors continue to review potential name changes. City staff are creating a public database where all municipal entities named in Edmonton will be compiled and reviewed for possible rebranding. There are currently 1,455 names entered in the database, including street names, bridges, ravines, recreation centers, and cemeteries. This is what Edmontonians get for 7.5% tax increase, a bunch of bike lanes, a whole bunch of virtue signaling from Sohi. This is what you'd expect from a failed Trudeau minion woke mayor. They increase the taxes by 7.5% and then they waste $680,000 on renaming this area. City of Edmonton, how about you do this? You take this name here and instead of rebranding an entire area, just name the next area that. Name the next street that. They're going to come back, well, Oliver was named after Oliver this, and James was named after this terrible James, and Paul was named after this terrible Paul. It's like, at what point? Stop wasting public's money. This is so stupid. The only rebranding that should be done is the Montreal Trudeau International Airport. We should be taking off that hideous name Trudeau off of the airport, and anything else that's named Trudeau, aside from that, preposterous. Now, to lighten things up, we've got a clip here conveniently moose-related.
Morning, buddy. Usually you're used to seeing...
I don't know if this music's copyright music. Probably. It always is.
My partner, Steph, was just about to go get our youngest daughter out of bed, and she said, oh no, there's someone in our yard on the...
It's a moose. It's a moose on the loose. That's what it is. It's a female moose. Yeah, those things are tall, they're strong, and they're scary. Don't go near a moose. It's like scarier than dealing with a horse. Look at that thing. It's taller than the car, easily.
Because the moose had taken out our charging port or hauled it out of our wall. The next thing I was thinking was that my deck needs to be stained. And now this video's, my father-in-law or my dad are going to give me a call and say, hey, buddy, do you think you should get something done about that deck? And probably the moose was thinking the same thing.
Moving over to my group now, let's look at some memes. We'll start opening up slowly. Your cheeks. Describe Trudeau in just one word. Infection is my word, yeah. A picture of a liberal. Ew, I haven't seen a leech in a long time. This younger generation, I'm offended. Me, who gives a crap? Trudeau's got that tiger blood, right? This is so cringe. The kids who are eating Tide Pods are now old enough to drive. This is funny. So yes, you're supposed to back into these stalls, otherwise your charger doesn't fit. Censorship is a tool used when the lie loses its power. Yes. I'd rather be a conservative nut job than a liberal with no nuts and no job. Whoa, Justin, do your farts... Whoa, Justin, do your farts stink? No wonder they call you Trudeau. Look at this. Fart jokes, you can't go wrong, Queer Planet. You're the carbon they want to reduce. I've noticed the CBC have been pushing a lot of this Abacus recent data where the people interviewed said they like the policies, but they don't like Trudeau. They're obviously trying to drum up support for the Liberals. It's just, I don't know if this is some play to introduce Mark Carney. The whole thing is so woke and ridiculous. The Liberals are done. It seems like a distraction tactic to distract from these food bank numbers, which are dominating a lot of the news right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Trudeau made a call and said, hey, you need to stir up something to get all this pressure of this food bank numbers off of us right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching the video to the end. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell, ring all that good stuff. We'll keep fighting for freedom. I'll see you guys in the next one.